Hundreds of thousands of articles and books are written about women in leadership, but most of it focuses on fixing women rather than fixing the problem. What we've done at AAUW with this report is to look instead at the barriers and biases women face in leadership.
In 2015, only 5% of the companies in Standard & Poor's 500 list had female chief executive officers. That's 25 people out of 500. And can you guess how many US states had women governors? 6 out of 50. Those are the people elected to represent our country.
Women are also underrepresented as leaders in academia, unions, the legal profession, and more. And the numbers are even lower for women of color. Black and Hispanic women together make up less than 3% of the senior executives in the private sector.
What's really troubling about these numbers is not just the lack of diversity. It's the long history of the problem.
Women are not new to leadership. Think of Cleopatra or Queen Elizabeth. Think of the women who helped to lead the civil rights movement and the educational reform movements.
But women leaders are still, even after thousands of years, vastly outnumbered by men.
The leadership gender gap is significant, persistent, and pervasive. Leadership ladders across many occupational sectors today continue to reflect a pattern of gender disparity that narrows the pool of women available to rise to the top leadership positions in the future.
As we examine this gender gap, we realize that despite many efforts to improve opportunities, there must be some systemic factors that are contributing to gender inequality in leadership roles.
Women make up more than half of college grads and half the labor force, and they have long careers in many fields. So there's no lack of women to fill these leadership positions, but somehow they're still not represented at the upper levels.
There are lots of barriers that contribute to the problem, including a lack of family-friendly policies, explicit gender-based discrimination, and a lack of mentors and sponsors. But a barrier that we have come to see as hugely important is unconscious or implicit bias.
You may not even be aware of them, but these are the hidden biases that can cloud your judgment and make it more difficult to treat people fairly. Such unconscious biases may even affect your decisions and actions in ways that diverge from your conscious beliefs and values.
In 1998, the Harvard University's Project Implicit pioneered the development of tests that used word association to detect implicit bias. In conjunction with our barriers and bias research, AAUW has collaborated with Harvard to launch a free, online, anonymous implicit association test on gender and leadership. We invite everyone to take it by going to our website at www.aauw.org.
Like other implicit association tests, the AAUW test measures the time it takes your mind to connect two words. For example, the test might tell you to connect leader with man. The test is not asking you to agree with the word connection. It is simply measuring how long it takes your mind to make the connection. You can go to our website, www.aauw.org, to take the test.
So why is implicit bias so important? All of us have implicit biases to some degree. This doesn't necessarily mean we'll discriminate against someone. It just means that our first blink judgment or implicit response sends us certain information.
Acknowledging this blink is critical because research suggests that by getting to know your own biases, you can learn to counteract them. The bad news is that most people have unconscious bias, but the good news is that there's something we can do about it.
The report is full of recommendations for action. There's a lot that both the government and employers can do to make sure women can stay on their career tracks and return to those careers if they leave. In terms of public policy, we recommend several pieces of legislation that promote work-life balance and workplace gender equity.
Our report includes things individuals can do as well. You can learn about your hidden bias by taking our test, for example. When we identify our biases, we can start challenging them.
Clearly, time will not solve the gender leadership gap, but action will. Getting more women leaders will require major changes in the culture, policies, and practices of the places where women learn and work. Accountability can also inspire action, so we need public policies to ensure that employers do the right thing.
The leadership gender gap is persistent and pervasive, but solvable.
That's it for our sneak peek. We hope you enjoy reading the full report.